I now want to talk to you guys about Windows 10 update settings. So definitely one of the things that we always have to deal with in the IT world is keeping our environments updated. I'll say this is probably a necessary evil, right? We have to keep our operating systems updated, our equipment updated. There's always new exploits coming out. There's also bugs that are found. And of course, Microsoft is going to try to help us by releasing updates. Of course, sometimes we hate it. It's frustrating. We know that sometimes we deploy updates and they can break things. But again, as I say, it's sort of a necessary evil. It's unfortunately the nature of the beast, something we have to deal with in our environment. So I want to give you an understanding now of how Windows 10 deals with its updates. Okay, so first off, understand this. Microsoft has an acronym they use. It's called WAAS, which is Windows as a Service, and they call this their servicing model. Windows as a Service means that Microsoft gives you Windows 10. Well, they don't give it to you. It's part of the deal. You purchase it. You have Windows 10, and then Microsoft promises to try to keep that Windows 10 serviced. Okay, keep it updated. Okay, but the terminology's changed a little bit over the years. We used to have service packs and all that stuff. Now Microsoft uses a term called feature updates. Okay, now a feature update, one thing you want to remember about it is this is going to be a big update of Windows 10. Okay, this is going to be like a new build of Windows 10. Okay, you'll notice that these feature updates come out a couple of times a year, 2 to 3 times. On average, it's been 2 times a year. There's usually one that comes out during around the springtime, so it'll be around the March, April time frame, and then you'll get one that comes out around the fall time frame. So it'll be somewhere around July, August, September, something like that. And these will be big feature updates that contain tons of new features in Windows 10, and they'll assign a version number to it, which will be a 2-digit year and then a 2-digit month. So, for example, maybe you've got the 1903 edition of Windows 10. That's March of 2019, basically feature update. Okay. Good news is if you deploy a feature update, you want to get rid of it, you can remove it. Okay, we'll talk more about that a little later. But another type of update we have is quality updates. Quality updates are the little updates that we get that come out essentially throughout the month, and they get released on Patch Tuesday. And these will be hot fixes, quality features maybe that need to be fine-tuned, that maybe have bugs or problems with them. And again, that'll happen on Patch Tuesday. Patch Tuesday is the second Tuesday of each month. So this is the traditional thing we're probably all used to. We've had Patch Tuesday for a very long time. But again, the feature updates, those are the big ones, and they're going to come out a couple of times a year. Okay, now on top of that, something else we've got is we got these things called update channels. Now in my next video, I'm going to demonstrate looking at these, but for now, I want to explain them. So there's 3 main channels that we've got, okay, that Windows 10 is going to be subscribed to. The first channel you can be subscribed to receive updates from Microsoft is the Windows Insider. The Windows Insider program, you have to sign up for that. You have to go into the Settings app in Windows 10 and actually turn that on. It's not turned on by default, and they kind of try to hide it from you a little bit. But you're going to receive updates, these feature updates, months before they go public. This is great for us IT people that want to test updates on lab computers and maybe pilot this before they go out to our actual production environment. The next one you got is semi-annual channel. This guy right here, semi-annual channel, this is going to be usually the default one that Windows is subscribed to. There's actually 2 versions of that. You have semi-annual channel, you have semi-annual channel targeted. And semi-annual channel makes it to where the updates will go live, and then your computers might get the updates maybe 3 to 4 months after they come out. These feature updates, they can be deferred. Or if you link to what's called semi-annual channel targeted, your computer will get the updates almost immediately when they go live to the public. Okay, and then the last one is called LTSC, Long-Term Servicing Channel. This used to be called Long-Term Servicing Branch, LTSB, but maybe a couple of years ago they changed the name to LTSC. So make sure you understand that, because if you're reading some documentation online, you might see the old name for it. The new name is LTSC. Okay, so what this is going to do, this is actually an addition you have to install. I actually mentioned it in one of my previous lectures, but you have to actually have the Windows 10 LTSC version, and you had to have installed that on the computer. This is not something you just turn on. This allows you to push updates off for a maximum of 10 years, okay? So this is great in a situation where maybe you've got some kind of a critical workstation that you're afraid when Microsoft releases a feature update it's going to break something. This is perfect for that environment. Imagine this. Imagine maybe it's a hospital, okay? Imagine a hospital. You got a Windows 10 computer that's dealing with a critical medical device. Maybe this device keeps somebody alive. Who knows, okay? The last thing in the world you want is for Microsoft to release a feature update that ends up breaking that machine and causing that medical device not to work, right? So this is that sort of thing. Long-term servicing channel allows you to defer updates for up to 10 years if you want, these feature updates. Okay, so that's critical. Okay, so again, the Windows Insider, you get the updates before they come out. Semi-annual channel lets you get the updates when they come out, and then long-term servicing channel lets you defer for a very long time. Okay, now on top of channels, we also have what are called rings, and when you subscribe to your update channels, you also are subscribing to something called an update ring, and there is 4 of those. You have Preview, which is linked to your Windows Insider channel. You have Targeted, which is linked to Semi-Annual Channel Targeted, which means you're going to get the updates right when they come out, the feature updates right when they come out. You have Broad, which is meant to be for the broad majority of your computers. That's going to be regular Semi-Annual Channel, and that's going to make it where updates will come out between 3 to 4 months after they go live to the public. And then lastly, Critical. That's considered a critical machine, and that would be long-term servicing channel. So that's what your update rings are. You subscribe to the channels, and from there you're linked to a ring. Okay, now on top of that, we have to think about how do we actually get updates. So if you got Windows 10 Home, there's really only one option, and that is Windows Update. That's the Windows Update service in the Settings app. I'll show you that here coming up. And there's no real way to control updates or test updates. They're just going to get thrown down on the person's machine whether they want them or not. Now you do have Windows Update for Business. The good news is that with the Windows Update for Business, I can use group policy objects to control who's going to get those. Unfortunately, I can't test the updates prior to them coming out with just plain old Windows Update for Business. The third option is called WSUS. Now this is Windows Server Update Services. We've had WSUS now for going on 15 years, I think, something like that. It came out in earlier 2000s. And this is a server that you can install on a Windows server. This is a service you can install on a Windows server for free. If you have a licensed copy of Windows Server, you can install WSUS, and it's a server that will go out, grab updates from Microsoft, allow you to deploy those updates to a test computer or test computers, and then you can approve those updates to go to your production. So you're going to have a lot of control if you implement WSUS, okay? So WSUS is really powerful. I'll talk more about that coming up. How do you install it and how do you point your clients to it as well, okay? You've also got Intune. We don't really talk too much about Intune in this course. That's more of an MD 101 thing, but Intune, Microsoft Intune is a cloud technology. It's Microsoft's MDM solution, and it allows you to link your Windows 10 computers to the Microsoft Cloud environment, and through their web portal, you can control what updates get deployed down to your machines that way. So you have quite a bit of control using that. The last method is called SCCM, System Center Configuration Manager. This is probably going to give you the most control over updates in an on-prem environment. Okay, but one thing I want to point out is that SCCM is not a standalone method for giving updates out to machines. It actually uses WSUS. So you actually have to have WSUS and SCCM, and SCCM is going to give you more control over WSUS. And the reason is because if you had a lot of WSUS servers, like let's say you had 10 branch offices and you had a WSUS server in every branch office giving updates, SCCM can centrally control all of those WSUS servers. Another thing that SCCM can do is it can provide you with some very advanced reports that you don't get with WSUS. So there's different benefits there that you get out of that. Now, one other little thing I want to tell you about here, another little feature that Windows 10 has that our older operating systems do not have, is something called delivery optimization. You do need to know what that is if you're taking the exam. Delivery optimization is a peer-to-peer option that will allow Windows 10 computers to share updates with other computers. So as a Windows 10 computer gets an update, it can actually make that update available to a neighbor, and that neighbor can make an update available to another neighbor, and it can kind of go around in a circle. Okay, it's sort of like a BitTorrenting style thing that it can do peer-to-peer wise. There used to be something called branch caching that you can still use, but it supports older computers. This is actually better though if you're using Windows 10. Okay, now I'll also say this: you can also use delivery optimization and allow it to hook into the internet, and you can share updates with people on the internet, and they can share updates with you. And the benefit is you're going to get your updates downloaded a lot faster if you do that. The downside is it's going to use more bandwidth. You can also kind of argue there, there's definitely some security concerns there. But granted, it's not really opening up any incoming ports. It's all just doing what is known as dynamic ports. So it's not a massive security risk, but it definitely is going to use more bandwidth if you allow the internet to sync up updates with you. Okay, I'm going to be showing you where that's at also in Windows 10 in this next little segment. Okay, but hopefully that gives you a good overview of the different features, the different update rings, and all that good stuff. And in this next segment, we're going to look at how you would actually configure some of that.